Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I want to share with you a really simple, total beginner, really easy watercolor Christmas card tutorial that anybody can do, even if you've never painted with watercolor before. I'm starting with a blank watercolor card. You can take watercolor paper and just fold it in half, or you can purchase a pre-made watercolor card online, and I will leave a link for you in my description. And I'm taking some green watercolor paint and just a medium size round brush, and I'm just very lightly adding green all over to my background. I don't really have any specific idea of how I want my background to look yet. I just want a little bit of variation of green in the background, and I'm doing what's called an intuitive painting process. And that just means that you kind of have an idea ahead of time, but it's really more about playing and being creative and enjoying the process. I had the edges of my card taped down because I didn't want my paper to buckle, but I decided I was going to take the corners off because I didn't want the little white corners to be there. So now that my paper is still wet, I'm picking up some more green paint, and it's going to be a little bit darker now. I did add a little bit of black to my green just to make it a little more muted. And I'm still continuing to just add some color and move my brush around. I'm kind of going a little bit for the idea of maybe hills in the background. What my plan is going to be is to create sort of a landscape scene with some fuzzy muted trees in the background and one main tree in the front. So my paper is still wet, so I'm taking a little bit of a darker, more intense green, and I'm just tapping some triangular shapes onto the background, sort of the idea of some trees that are sitting on top of the hill. I want this to be very loose and expressive. So now I'm going to be doing my main tree, and I did not pre-sketch this. I'm just going for a very loose look. So again, I'm trying to create sort of a triangular shape, going for a pine tree look. And I'm just dabbing my brush back and forth, and I'm gradually adding marks wider and wider to create that triangular shape. And the reason I'm tapping my brush around like that is because I want some lighter areas to kind of show in between. I'm adding more dark paint to my tree, and because it's wet on wet, the color is bleeding out and becoming more diffused. I want a really soft, expressive look to my Christmas card. Once that was dry, I came back with a brush that had just a little bit of paint on it, and I did a dry brush technique where I just dragged my brush along the edges just to create a little bit of a frame. Now I'm coming in and I'm getting a little more detailed with my brush. So I'm starting at the top, and I'm really just drawing with my paintbrush sort of squiggly lines coming out from the main center trunk area of the tree, and I'm just moving my brush back and forth. You want it to be uneven. You want the brush marks to be a little bit different. Some areas I have more paint on my brush, some areas I have less. When there's less paint on my brush, again, that's called a dry brush technique, and it gives you a little bit of texture. And I'm just going back in and just adding more branches and really just enjoying the process and just playing with the paint and seeing what kind of different marks I can come up with. Intuitive painting is a very mindful activity. It's very relaxing. It's very good for your mental health. This time of year is crazy busy. We have a lot of things on our plate, a lot of things we have to do. And you might say, I don't have time to sit down and paint. I think it's really important that we make this time for ourselves. And if you've never painted before, watercolor is a really easy way to get started. And it's just so relaxing and has so many benefits. It can reduce anxiety, it can improve your mood, it can help with depression, and some studies have even shown that it can help with pain management. If you're new to my channel, my name is Kathleen, and I'm a teacher and an artist, and I have worked with all ages and all levels of artists over the years, and right now I specialize in working with aging adults. And the thing that they tell me over and over again is that the painting classes are just so beneficial for them as far as their mental health. It gives them something to look forward to. It just makes them happy. And so if you are thinking about trying to paint and you're intimidated by the process, don't be. Just pick up a paintbrush and just start moving some paint around. It's great for your mental health and it'll really improve your day. So I did go back and I added a few little marks to give the impression of the trees in the background. And I'm just adding a little bit more of the darker paint towards the center and the base of the tree. I want to create a little bit of weight towards the base of the tree, and I'm just continuing the same way. I'm just tapping my brush around. I'm trying to move quickly and not worrying too much about how perfect the branches are. What I'm doing now is I picked up some paint that had quite a bit of water in it, and I'm tapping my paintbrush one on top of the other. And what that does is it's creating a spatter technique. So it's just making flecks of paint go all over the place. Once I did that, I had covered the back. I didn't want it to get paint on it, but then I decided, I think it would be fun to add some of the spatter to the back. I did also do the same with some gold watercolor paint. You can stop at this point. If you have white acrylic paint or white gouache, which is what I'm using here, you can add the impression of snow on the branches. And I just picked up a little bit with my brush and I'm just tapping little dots randomly where I think the snow might land on the branches. And I'm just going to continue to do this. I'm probably going to add some underneath the tree. I'm probably going to add some around the edges. And I'm just going to play until I feel like I've come up with something that is finished. So I hope that you will try this tutorial for yourself. Take a few minutes out of your day, no matter how busy you are. This is a quick, easy project. And if you have someone in your life that means a lot to you, I'm sure they would love to receive a hand-painted Christmas card from you. So thank you so much for watching. I hope that you will give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. If there's anything you would like to see me paint, please share it in a comment below, because I'm always looking for ideas for tutorials, different ideas than what I normally paint. So I would love it if you would leave me a comment or two.